Hi, welcome to the second of these After Effects tutorial videos. Today I'm going to talk to you about layers and the timeline a little bit more. And this is going to be quite a kind of short one, not quite as long as the last one, but it'll kind of add to what we learned in the last one. So to start, I'm gonna open up Premiere, because Premiere is probably something you might have a little bit more experience with, and it's a good way to show just how the timeline works. So here you have the timeline. It goes from left to right, and you hit play, and so we have this one piece of footage here, and then it cuts to another piece of footage here. And yeah, this is the cut point. And we can add in, like, for instance, another piece of footage, and we can add that kind of there, let's say, and that'll it'll cut from that piece of footage into that piece of footage now. This is basically just like really like simple kind of editing. And then we can change the kind of in and out points of those pieces of footage, and that changes the edit point. All quite basic stuff, and it's very easy to understand like this. But After Effects works slightly differently, and in the on Premiere, everything you can see here, Premiere does actually have layers. These things over here are layers. So you can have a piece of footage that is actually on top of this piece of footage, and you can toggle it on and off in visibility. So that's actually the way After Effects works. And what's different is that Premiere here, there's like, you can have multiple pieces of footage on one layer in Premiere. But in After Effects, it's a bit more like Photoshop, in that you can only have pieces of footage like stacked on top of each other. And you can't really have like, you can, but it's like a bit, it's just, you do it in a different way, but you can't really have two pieces of footage in one layer. You can, that's called pre-composing, but we'll go into that later, where you kind of group things so it lives on one layer. But for today, we're going to go under the assumption that you can only have different pieces of footage on one layer, on like individual layers. So I'm gonna minimize Premiere and go into After Effects. So here we have a composition already set up. I showed you last time how to set up a composition, so that should be kind of clear for you. And yeah, here you can see we have two layers here in this bit on the left, and then this is the timeline here, and one of the layers is toggled off, so you can't see it. So I can press play on this layer, and it will do this. This is just a random bit of footage that I've got. Yeah, and you can see that this here stretches all the way to the end of the composition. So it's about 2 minutes 38, it says here. And I'm going to toggle on the layer above it, and now you can't see the layer below it, right? So that makes sense, because this layer is on top of this one. So this is the layer we can see, this top layer. I'm just going to zoom out and make this layer a bit smaller as we change the scale like we did last time. So now this layer is a bit smaller, and I'm going to press play. Actually, yeah. So well, we can see here that this layer is about, it comes up to here, and we can see that's about 36 seconds long. And if I press play just towards the end of this layer, of this piece of footage, we can see it's here. So it's playing this piece of footage because it's playing that layer. And now when the playhead goes past it, that cat footage disappears, and then we go back to the layer below it. And that's because wherever the layer appears on the timeline under this playhead, that's where it appears on the screen, and we can move this. We can move this left and right. So now, where that layer was before, we can't see it anymore. We can't see the cat footage. We can only see this weird thing of me. But then we can scrub along the timeline to the right, and we can see that around 47 seconds now, it'll jump back onto the cat footage again. So, and so I'm going to bring in another thing, like I've got an image here of a bear, and I'm going to drag it like here. So now it'll go from this footage to the cat footage, and then when this other layer, this image layer, comes up, I'm going to scrub back and press play. So it'll play the cat footage for a few seconds, and then it will hit this zoomed in image of a bear. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to make it smaller. Cool. All right, so that's and then obviously we can move that so the bear doesn't appear there, but it appears there instead. So that's kind of the basic way that works, and what we can do with that. So maybe we want to split this layer or make an edit, for example. After Effects isn't really the place to do editing, but you can do simple editing. Like you can do complex editing as well, but it's just a bit slower. So what you can do is if you go to the end of a layer, either end, you can see this little arrow appear, left and right arrow, and that means you can click and drag the layer, so you can actually make it like really, really, really small if you want. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and so now I've got this layer, and it's just a tiny little snippet. It's about a second of the cat. So I'll zoom back and press play. So now we just have a small little snippet of the cat. Another way to do this, another way to change the length of a layer, is to it's a keyboard shortcut. It is on Mac it's Command Shift D, and I think on Windows it should be Control Shift D. But if I do that, I'm going to do it right now, and you'll notice now that it's made a cut in the layer, and it's like it's thrown the cut to a different layer. So now you've actually got two separate bits of footage that are that piece of cat footage. So this video that you saw right at the beginning of the I'm just gonna show you how I did that. So if you go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this cat footage layer up into multiple pieces. I'm going to turn off the other layers right now. I'm going to turn the visibility off, and I'm going to come here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, all right. So now I can see seconds on the timeline, and I'm going to at each second I want a flash of the cat video to appear. So I'm going to go to 1 second on the timeline. I'm going to go Command Shift D. I'm going to go along to 2 seconds. I'm going to go Command Shift D. I'm going to go along to 3 seconds, Command Shift D. I'm going to keep doing that for a little bit, and then right. So now I'm up to 10 seconds, and what you'll notice is it's all cut up. But if I hit spacebar to press play, it's still just playing the cat footage as normal, and that's because all of these in and out points are at the same place. But what I'll do now is select this bit, select this part of the cat footage, and delete it, and then delete these ones. Right, and now what I'll have is a kind of flashing bit of cat footage. Yeah, cool. And so then I can toggle on the visibility of the layer below. So now I'll have cat footage with thing below it. Okay, but maybe what I can do with these as well. So these layers I can copy and paste them, and I can move them along in time, and I can change the. I can make it smaller, so it's just a little flash of cat footage. And then, for instance, if I wanted to repeat that a lot of times, I can zoom in again and copy and paste it with Command C, Command V, or Control V, Control C, Control V on PC, and I can move it along the timeline. And say I can also I can hold Shift to select multiple layers, and I can copy and paste those, for example. And I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to do that again. Right, and now you'll see it can get a little bit messy, because now I've got, how many layers have I got? I've got 31 layers, and this part, all these little bits are going to look like this. So now you can see, because I've used the same little chunk of the cat footage, because I copy and pasted the same bit, it's just repeating that little bit over and over again. But you can see the layer below, the head moving, that's actually still playing like consistently at normal speed. Yeah, so that is kind of, that's and then, I mean, I can also then, if I want to, I can bring this bear footage back in, this picture of the bear. I just deleted it, so I brought it in again, and then I can make that, if I want to, you know, I can move it over here, and then I can do Control Command Shift D again. And I don't want this bit at the beginning. I want it to appear here, so I can delete that bit, and then I can move the timeline along a little bit, and then Command Shift D, and then I can delete that bit as well. So now I've just got a little chunk of cat video. Sorry, not cat video, of bear image. And that'll appear there for a short amount of time. But then I can, if I want, I can copy and paste that as well, and move the playhead further along the timeline a little bit, and then drag this one over here. But now these two are like these two pieces of footage. They're both footage of they're both images of the bear. But this one I can move over here, perhaps. So these two are both like the same. They're like both effectively the same like footage, but they're at different places. And also, if I for example, I want, I can copy and paste again. You've got to have the layer selected, copy and paste, and then I can move it over here again. So now I've got the same footage twice in the timeline here, in two different positions. And if I want, I can maybe rotate this one using the rotate tool up here. So now I've got this great composition of cat face, bear, cat face, bear, bear. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, a bit of a random composition I just made there, but maybe, hopefully it gives you a good idea of how to use the timeline and how to shift things, how to copy things, how to cut, to make an edit effectively, and yeah. So hopefully you can now apply a bit of that thinking to the collages that you made in the first lesson, because it all kind of starts to work together if you apply that with like keyframing, and then bringing things in and out when you need them. It can become quite, you can achieve a lot of quite cool things with that. Cool. Okay, thank you very much. See ya.